Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Alpha webinar titled Smart Ways to Invest Your Summer Holiday Money. I am excited about this session in particular. It promises to be an interesting and insightful time. My name is Deborah Ojengbede, and it's my pleasure to moderate this session. To start this webinar, I'd like to introduce our speakers, Adeshola Ilori and Abiola Adekoya. Adeshola is the head of Treasury Digital Platforms at Union Bank. She has over 17 years professional experience in the financial services sector, working with various global and local financial institutions. Adeshola is passionate about women, fintech, financial literacy, and inclusion. She sits on the advisory board of the TAM Fund, a program designed for startups and early-stage entrepreneurs with the right attitude and vision, but no means of achieving their goals. Adeshola is a mentor under the Cherry Blair Foundation's mentoring program for women in Africa and an associate under the WIMBIZ initiative. Abiola is a leading wealth and finance advisor with over 20 years experience working in leading financial services firms across the globe. She also worked at other top 5 stockbroking firms, CSL Stockbrokers and Renaissance Capital, from 2006 to 2013. A fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria, she graduated with a BSc Economics from University of Lagos in 1998 and has an MBA from Lagos Business School. Abiola and Adeshola will be talking about lucrative ways to invest our funds during this period. Before I hand over to the speakers, here's a reminder. Please feel free to post your comments while the session is going on. If you have any questions for the speakers, kindly use the Q&A button on your Zoom live screen. Questions will be answered after the session. Also, this session is being recorded and will be available for view after the webinar. Thank you. Adeshola and Abiola, over to you, please.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having an awesome Saturday. I hope that you are not, bogged down by the current climate that we're at. I know a lot of people had high hopes for the summer period, and I would like people to put up in the chat if you'd already made plans on where to spend your summer. Can I see some commentary around that? Anyone wants to share? Had you made any plans? Had you planned to travel somewhere exciting? Had you planned to do something fun? Or you hadn't planned? Okay, maybe no one had planned. Well, no one with kids here. Anyone plan to go somewhere? Oh, New York. I know, right? I love New York. That's like my favorite city in the world. So that's like my favorite city in the world. I really love New York. Whereabouts in New York? Do you like Dubai? I know, I also like Dubai. Dubai is quite fun as well. New York, I love for the food. Dubai, everybody loves for the shopping, But yes, I think the reality is that, this year we are going to likely be spending summer in Nigeria. And I know that for some people that thoughts may fill them with a bit of dread and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to spend summer in Nigeria. But let me tell you, I think that, you might be surprised at summer in Nigeria. So I have what I call a city staycation. I know summer is really the time that parents get to spend quality time with their children. But unfortunately, given that most parents have already spent the last couple of months homeschooling their children, I feel like parents may want to get away. What do you guys think? I think that parents are looking like, I think I just want to get away from my kids for a bit, right? But unfortunately, we can't afford that. So I think, starting off this segment, I'm going to sort of start by, my most fun thing, which is city staycation. Now, most of us, we see the cities where we live in as a place for us to work and socialize. But you know what? Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be a tourist in your city? Has anyone ever thought of that? I mean, explore, open yourself to new experiences, discover new things about the city you've never known. I've always wanted to explore Lagos as a tourist. I think it'll be fun, but I have like 3 ideas I think you can explore. The first one is, recreate your favorite Buka experience for your kids. So, I'm a foodie, I must tell you. So that's probably like the top thing that came to my mind. Maybe like cook the meal with them, let them see how the meal is made and go into a bit of food history. That would be fun. Also, explore your city virtually. Perhaps you do a brief history about Lagos. I live in Lagos, so imagine if you live in Lagos, talk about, how Lagos became the most cosmopolitan city in Africa, the first story building, which is in Badagry. You share with them the history of the Badagry Slave Museum, Freedom Park, and perhaps you crown that off with a, with a play, which would involve some sort of poetry, drama, dance. You'd be surprised. Your kids may end up becoming what, maybe you find that one of your children will be a good set director and actor. Never can say. Another one I think you also do is recreate a city that you love. And someone mentioned here that they love New York and Dubai. You could recreate a New York scene or a Dubai scene, something you would do there. That could be fun, right? I think so. Anyway, now that we've gotten some of the fun stuff out of the way, I know you're like thinking, okay, so what am I going to do with all the money I've saved? Because everything that Biola has said to me doesn't involve money. It's true, it doesn't. But you know what? I first of all like to congratulate you for saving money. Yes. Most people have a hard time saving anyway, especially in this season, right? But you have saved your money. And that has given you an edge over others, and it allows you to take opportunities that you might not have even thought about before. And I'm here to share those opportunities with you. I think the first thing I would share with you is really the education fund. The reality is that given the disruption, a lot of parents are seeing the gaps in their children's education, and they're also seeing the opportunities in their children's education. And I think with that, parents are reassessing the existing educational plans and needs of their children. They're like thinking, okay, you know what, I need to do better. I need to maybe invest more money. And this is the time to put that summer money towards your kids' education. You may be looking at schools, particularly with the virtual learning becoming a thing. You may want to look at schools that offer more virtual learning experience. You may want to look at more long-term school changes. And I think it's definitely where, you should consider putting more money and allocating some funds, some of that funds in there. I think it would go a really long way. Union Bank has a, very strong savings account for kids that I think you can actually take advantage of. And I think you definitely want to, consider that. Now, another investment plan that I think you can consider is, mutual funds. Now, with the current landscape, we have seen that there has been an increase in investment uncertainty, especially investors are struggling to understand and make sense of what these factors are and how it's going to impact on their investment. Now, a way to manage these factors is really by investing in mutual funds. Now, mutual funds are handled by asset managers and they're industry experts, right? So they know what they're talking about. Their job is to ensure that they look at all these factors that as an investor, you may not be looking at, and then they'll give you the best, decision. And what they do is they come up with products, which are called mutual funds that, are either investing in various assets. So some mutual funds invest in money market funds and they offer you guaranteed returns. Some mutual funds of, Eurobond and, they invest in Eurobonds, which is, Eurobonds are pretty much foreign denominated fixed income instruments. And some mutual funds are Eurobond mutual funds. You have some that are equity mutual funds, and you have some that combine both. Now, what this does is when you put your money in there, you remove the headache that you have to worry about. I think mutual funds are definitely a great one to look at. I would advise you talk to your wealth advisor to decide which one you want to invest in, essentially, so you can be sure and you meet your needs. Now, one area where, people tend to want to like, oh, I'm not sure the stock market, I'm a bit unsure about it, but I think that right now is really the time to look at the stock market. And you're thinking, why would Biola say this? Well, the market has gone down by 7% year to date. Now with that, it means that stocks are trading at New Year lows. Now, trading at New Year lows means that you can pick up some stocks that were pretty expensive before at much cheaper prices. So if you're asking me, well, what sector should I look at if I'm considering the stock market? And I'm going to tell you, it's actually quite, it can be quite a simple approach to it. And that approach is by looking at what are the things that you're using more of in this season. I don't know about you guys, but I have spent an awful amount on data. So, I'm sure the story is the same. So a stock that you would consider is a stock that actually, you know what, where is your money? Where are your coins going to? Where are you putting your money? If you're buying data, so maybe you want to look at investing in a telecom stock, that may be something to look at. Another area that we're spending a lot of time and money on is on online and e-commerce shopping. So you want to ask yourself which companies have a strong online presence on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So you want to consider that as well. Now, another area that we are spending money on is food. Exactly right. I know everybody is going around with what they call the COVID belly. I have it. I'm sure you guys have. Some people have as well. And if you don't have, well done to you. Some people have the COVID belly where we've been eating a lot of food and spending just a lot of money on food. Now the question is, are you spending that money on food? And which of the listed companies are you spending money? And I'm going to share with you. There is a company that is listed that has within the last 3 weeks gained about 25%. Yes, and it's a popular food brand that we use quite often. And so imagine that if you had invested your money, then you'd have been up by 30%. So you want to consider the stock market. Now, another market that is important to consider is the property market. Now, there are 2 ways to look at the property market, I would suggest. If you're looking to buy a house for your residential use, or you can look at it for an investment purpose. Now, for residential use, this is the time to put that block of money towards your residential apartment. Why is that? So prices are going to be depressed. A lot of houses, they're not seeing, the demand has declined, purchasing power has reduced, so this is the time, if you are the one that saved money, you can definitely put your money towards the property market. I think you should consider it. You probably will get property at a much cheaper price than you had thought. Also, from an investment point of view, there are many people now that are going to be downsizing. So you can buy a property for investment where you create a sharing atmosphere. So the house can be such that people can share certain amenities, especially it would work for millennials. They're not as fussy as I think the Gen X is, that's what we're called. Now, everyone has sort of done some sort of like, my friend is doing a business, I want to put my money in my friend's business, and we've all done stuff like that in the past. But this season is the time where you want to look at that a bit more critically, and that's angel investing. Now, angel investing is really pretty much being done in Nigeria, but we kind of have it done pseudo in a sort of false way, where you have the agribusiness, allowing you to put money in their businesses. Now, that's a form of angel investing, but because they guarantee you a return, that's why it's different. But with angel investing, you're looking at a more long-term approach, and that approach is that you put in the money now, and then you're probably living in there for another 3 to 5 years, and the upside can be great, although it does have high risk. There's certain things you must consider, but when you think of angel investing, think of people that invested in companies like Uber, Facebook, the InterSwitches and the GTBs before it became big. Now, those guys really made a lot of money when the companies went public. Now, for angel investing, I've always advised you want to collaborate with people. So that's where investment club comes in. You want to come together with an investment club and do something together. Or you look for a platform of an angel investment group, and then you invest in that platform. Now, such platforms, they already do the due diligence, and they already, take all the pain off of you. So I think angel investing is one way to go. And I think that that's pretty much where we're going to see the future of a lot of investments and the next set of millionaires and billionaires in the market. Now, finally, I don't know about you, but I have been, inundated in this season with courses, webinars. Everybody's learning something. Everyone is buzzing with ideas, and I'm sure you are buzzing with ideas. And this is probably the time to look at that side hustle. Do you want to start a side hustle? Well, if the answer is yes, then this season is really when you want to take a look at it. It's a good time to deploy some of that fund into your side hustle, especially, you know why? You're not under any pressure. So if it succeeds, great. If it doesn't succeed, you may be upset, but guess what? It's a learning curve and you get to do it again. But within the season, you can give it some time. You can deploy that money towards it. And I think it's something that you definitely should consider. Now, when you look at all this, I'm sure you're asking yourself, well, Biola, you have, low risk and medium risk and high risk on your page. Yes, I do have. But I'm going to hand it over to Deshola now to talk to you more about risk and your risk portfolio and how you can assess your risk. Deshola, over to you.
Thanks, Biola. In fact, I like that idea of a staycation. I think another thing people should do as well is, as you're looking at smart ways to invest your summer money, if you have kids, your kids were going to get summer money as well. So you might as well go on this journey with your kids, and then make some, so you guys at the end of every quarter or thereabouts, review your portfolio. And then that will also help your help your children understand the value of money and investing. So like Biola said, I'm going to talk to you about risk because she has spoken to us about the various products or the various ways you can invest. However, one thing you have to know when investing is the risk associated with whatever investments you're going into. So you also have to know what type of person you are. Do you like taking risks? Are you risk neutral? Are you open to high risk, high returns? That is very important. So the things you need to ask yourself when considering investing is, how familiar are you with the product or the investment you want to go into? Do you have an understanding of it? It's very important. Are you happy just to get your principal and a little interest on it, or are you looking for high returns? So if you're looking for a person looking for high returns, then that means you are looking to take some serious risk. And then you can be that person that is just moderate in the middle. Okay, I mean, I want to make a bit more than minimal returns, but I don't want to take too much risk. So things you should look at. If you're new to savings, I think you should start with like short-term goals. So save towards something, towards a larger goal. So for instance, you can put money aside to buy a property, put money aside to start a business. So whatever you have. So even if for some people, they may not even have may not have had plans for summer or save towards summer, but they're just thinking about, okay, how do I even start investing and getting on this investment bandwagon? So things you should look at is low risk. If you're just starting out, I think is focus on low risk. So we're looking at targeted saving products, FGM bonds, treasury bills, euro bonds. These are FGM bonds, treasury bills, euro bonds. These are government securities, so they're fairly secure. For target savings products, Union Bank has an array of products, including, and Bella had also mentioned that we have the Equities proposition as well, which, I mean, it is amazing. The team that worked on it, they really put their back into it. So the target savings plan, starts at about 2,000 to 500,000, depending on how much you're looking to save. And another thing is the tenor. So when also going into investments, you have to decide, how long can I keep my money for? How long do I want to keep this money for before I need to use it or try to create more money from it? So you should look at anything from, depending on your outlook, if you're low risk, anything from 6 months to 2 years, between medium and high, I mean, you're looking at up to 5 to 10 years. Another thing, so what you should look at is, like I said, determine the tenor, flexibility of savings. What do you need the money for? Is it your lifeline? Is it money you can do without? Is it money you think you'll need in a couple of months or in a year? So in whatever products or whatever your investment you're going in, you have to think about the ease of coming out. Currency, if you want to talk about school fees and saving towards school fees, a lot of people want to send their kids abroad or to schools that are quite expensive, and so so you need to think about, okay, so what currency do I need to save my funds in? And even in my investments, even if you're saving for next year's summer, for instance, because there are people that are going to have 2 summers next year once once a vaccine has been found. So you might just decide, you know what, okay, I'm going to save towards my vacation, or I'm going to invest in a product that will give me returns in foreign currency that I can take on my next vacation. So things like Euro bonds is what you looking at. Reputation of the organization. That is very important, because you don't want to hear any stories at the end of the day. So you need to look at, okay, who are the people issuing these products, and what is their reputation in the market? How long have they been in the market for? And those sort of things. So I mean, it's been interesting to say at Union Bank, we are launching a wealth management platform called M36, and it should be out in the market next month. And you'll be able to buy all these products off that platform for as little as 100,000, and the equivalent for Eurobonds, of course. So now, if you're new to investment and you want to go in, you think you're mid-high risk, then maybe you should look at equities, mutual funds. Like Biola said, for mutual funds, it's very important to know what the underlying assets are. So that's where so when you're going to equities and mutual funds, if it's not a money market fund, whereby your funds are invested in that fixed deposits or treasury bills or FGM bonds, you should have a longer term view. So anything from 2 to 5 years just to mitigate whatever tremors or whatever things happen in the economy around those times. So like I said, determine your outlook. What is your risk appetite? It's very important. You must know your risk appetite. So, and you must think to yourself as well. Another thing you should think about is, okay, if I lose money, how would it affect me? If I lose in the first year, if I lose 10% of my portfolio value, would I be willing to come out, or will I panic and want to come out, or will I stay and ride it because I have a 2 to 5 year view on it, and this is just year one? So those are the things you should think about when you're trying to determine what your risk profile is. Currency as well, like I said earlier, and then reputation of the organization is very key. So for long-term goals, so Biola had said in her previous slide, investment clubs help you to go into more, they're like a comfort for you to go into more risky investments or higher risk investments, like angel investing, or if you want to invest in art, or you want to invest in gold or in jewelry. It's good if you can come together and find people of like minds and do that together. So that reduces the risk, because when you set up an investment club or have an investment club, you have to have a strategy towards what that investment club is, why that investment club is set up. Sorry, what are the you have to have guiding principles. So it can be very structured. I would advise that it is very structured. So is it formal, informal? When I say formal, I mean like Alpha, being on the Alpha Hub, or it's a formal way, because this is a structured platform. And I think it's very key we take advantage of being on this Alpha Hub, because you tend to meet people of like minds. But I would like to say, even though you meet people on the Alpha platform and they seem nice, they seem genuine, it's very important that you do your due diligence. It's very important that you protect yourself. So execute an MOU. Informal ones is the ones you can do with friends and people you know. The same thing. Friends and money, I don't think friendship and money should mix. You need to be very structured when you're going into investments with your friends. So let there be your guiding principles. Let there be an MOU in place. Let everybody sign. Have an admin that is responsible. Have 3 admins, so that in case of a tie, then there's someone that can break that tie. So at that point, then you now know that, okay, I've done the best that I can to secure myself. There's nothing that is foolproof. There's nothing that is 100%. Sometimes these investments go good, sometimes they go bad. But for investment clubs and investing in things like angel investing or art, you need a long-term view. Art, for instance, appreciates over time. It's the same thing with property. And investment clubs can also help you in terms of property acquisition. I forgot to mention that. So you can all go in together and buy a property, either for residential or commercial, hold it for a couple of years, hence why long-term goals. 5-10 years, the property market could have appreciated, and then you guys will sell it and move on to then buy personal properties or use your funds for whatever you want to use it for. So I think I'll hand you over to Biola now to just tell us about diversification and risk, and just go into that, furthermore into that, because it is very important. It's easy for us to say, buy this, buy that, but you know yourselves, or you should know yourself, and you should know what risk you'll take and what risk you won't take. My risk appetite and Biola's risk appetite, completely different, but we're both in this market. So Biola, I hand them over to your capable hands.
Okay, guys. So Deshala, thank you very much for that. It's definitely a nice intro to my to my next slide. And really, I think for me, what I want to highlight here is diversification and risk. Now, one of the things that probably have impacted a lot of people in this season is essentially the fact that most people were not well diversified. You know, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm a savings person. I just want to do stocks. I just want to do property. But the reality is, when there is there's a situation that we're in, such as the one that we have now, if you put all your eggs in one basket, it's not going to work. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you need to diversify your portfolio. You need to make sure that you have in your portfolio of your assets, different types of assets, okay? So I have here, as Deshala has mentioned, if you're risk averse, and these are people some people just want to look at their money in their bank accounts. You just want to be waking up in the morning and counting the zeros. If you're one of those people, you want to look at you probably are going to want to invest in things like treasury bills, fixed deposit, the savings account from Union Bank that Deshala mentioned, as well as some FGM bonds. And now it's very short-term in tenor. So you're going to be looking at about 30 to 2 years. And the returns are very stable, very predictable. But if I was going to advise you, I would say put a certain amount of your portfolio in there. So if you're someone that likes to look at your numbers and you like to look at your zeros, I would say put about maybe 70% of your money in there now, and then put the remaining 30% in other assets. Okay, so I think that you have a good balance. Now, if you're someone that is risk neutral, I mean, by risk neutral, you're like, okay, I don't mind if I lose some money. I don't mind if I make some money. If you're that sort of person, then you probably like things like shares. You like things like corporate bonds, Euro bonds, mutual funds are more your thing. Now, if that's the case, the tenor for those are usually about 2 to 5 years. I know, right? You're looking and wondering, Biola, 2 years, yes. The stock market actually is a 2-year market. So it's not really a 6 months or 3 months market as people tend to assume. It's actually 2 to 5 years. And the same thing with corporate bonds, you can hold to maturity. Now, or if Euro bonds, you can also hold to maturity, and mutual funds as well. But the best returns that you get is if you allow those assets to stay for about a 2 to 5 year period. Now, we also, the returns are similar, are somewhat predictable. However, the only difference is that if you want to actually sell the instrument, your condition, you have to deal with the market price at that point in time. So if the market price is high or low, that's where you're going to have to sell it at, and that's where the element of risk comes in. But by and large, they're fairly safe, and they have a long-term outlook. So if you're risk averse, I would advise that maybe you have 50% in like cash and the remaining 50% in some of the assets I've mentioned here, or perhaps you even want to maybe have a little bit less cash, about 40%, and about 60%, with certain slightly higher assets. So things like the shares and corporate bonds, you may want to maybe go higher a bit on that. Now, the last type of people are the risk lovers. Now, I would like to a show of hands. Are there people here who are business owners? Are there people here who are business owners who would rather put all their money in a business than put their money in any stock market? I know that people that are here. I can give you an example of someone who's is a risk lover and a high risk taker. That guy is, yes. Does anyone have an idea of who that person is? No, nobody? Well, that person is Dangote. So Dangote is one of those people that is a high risk, he likes risk. I think he's a high risk person. He goes from one high risk business to another high risk business. I mean, who would leave cement and then want to do Nigeria's refinery? That's someone that loves risk. And that's a risk, he likes risk a lot. And so you tend to find that most business owners actually are high risk people. They love risk. And the reason why we call it high risk is because the chances of losing your entire capital is high, and the returns can also be astronomically high as well, right? It's very volatile. Now, what types of, but if you're not a business owner and you like risk, how can you take advantage of your risk appetite? One way is by being, investing in venture capital. So angel investing, as I've already mentioned earlier, investment club, alternative assets here. These are the things like the agro-business funds, and agribusiness funds. Now, I want you to be careful with those funds. Some of them are good, and some of them you need to do a bit more due diligence to know which is the right one to invest in. So I would say speak to your financial advisor and get clarity on which ones are quite viable. Now, alternative assets, again, art is one that is becoming quite popular in Nigeria. A lot of young people are buying art. Some older guys have been buying art for a while, and it's beginning to pay off quite strongly. Jewelry is another one that is paying off. Someone mentioned they love to go to Dubai. People go to Dubai, part going to Dubai for women, jewelry and food and shopping. And jewelry is one area where people are beginning to, look at it differently. And I'll tell you why. In this whole, pandemic that we've had, the price of gold has been, consistently up. Why? Because people, they were like, well, I can't do oil. Stock market is down. What can I do? Gold. Everybody ran into gold. So if you're someone that likes to buy gold a lot, listen, you may be onto a good thing. Jewelry definitely has some upside to it. So, you can eat your cake and have it surely. Turn-off for some of these, assets are really usually more long-term. So you have about a 5-year period, I would say typically. And because at least if you're investing in a business, it'll take about 5 years for that business to be stable. If you're investing in an investment club, it takes roughly about that period as well for the returns to start coming in. So I would say it's a longer term, period. But you know what? It's summer money that you didn't spend. So maybe spending it, keeping it for 5 years may yield you some good returns. So I would say this is the time to take that risk and take that chance. Don't be afraid. Fortune favors the brave, they always say, right? Now, like I mentioned, the returns are, they're very good. Listen, let me give you an example. I had mentioned Uber, I had mentioned Facebook. Can I give you a Nigerian example? Let me give you a Nigerian example. So imagine MTN when they came into Nigeria. Now, the time they came into Nigeria, we had 400,000 phones in Nigeria, all belonging to Nitel. We were buying SIM cards, so I don't give off my, my years of experience and my age, but we're buying SIM cards for like 50,000 naira. Can you imagine? And we're using our salaries, we're paying over a year. Everybody was getting loans to buy SIM cards. And it looked like, the telco would never work. Fast forward to, 15 odd years later. And guess what? Those that invested in MTN then, probably maybe put in, I don't know how much they put in, they probably thought nothing will come out of it. And guess what? I know quite a few of them, and they're billionaires, guys, they're billionaires. So sometimes you take a calculated risk and the upside will be exciting. I know you're thinking, but Biola, how would I find out about the MTNs? And you see, sometimes the MTNs are around you. Your friends, your family, people that are doing business, look at them, a bit closer. That person that is doing that, maybe corporate gift business, that person that is a baker, those guys make a lot of money. If you invest in them, you enable them to become bigger and to scale up. And that way you also make some money. So guys, alternative investment and venture capital is something that I think you should consider. Anyway, so I've shared with you the kind of, and for the mix for the risk lovers, I would say if you're a risk lover, it's always good to have some cash, because sometimes business doesn't always go as planned. So just have some cash. So if you're a risk lover, I would always advise have about 20% cash investment, and have, some sort of property that you can sort of lean on and some other assets. But maybe your risk is probably going to be about 60%, which is okay because that's what you like. But I think definitely diversify and have certain other assets in your portfolio. So, and for me, I think, just to end this, I would say diversification is key, because it helps you to spread your risk. And when your risk is spread, it means that whatever happens within the market, you actually have 1 or 2 products that are going to benefit from the downturn or benefit when the market rallies. So you're never going to really be, regretful if anything happens in the economy. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Deshola, who's going to share with you the quick steps on how to start your investment plan, especially this summer. Deshola, over to you.
So Bella, before I get to that, I would like to ask you what your take is, because I didn't see it on your slide on cryptocurrencies.
Oh, so cryptocurrency for me, is something that I think it can be high risk. I think it's high risk because, again, it's a trading platform. It's not really a currency that is fully accepted in the general marketplace, in global market space, but it's very tradable. I think with all investment types, what I would always say is, listen, guys, you want to be careful. Make sure you understand it. It's not an area that I am very conversant with. It's not that people don't make money. I'm just not very comfortable with it. But I think definitely you can absolutely, invest in cryptocurrency. And good thing you mentioned cryptocurrency, Deshala, because it also brings me to FX trading as well. A lot of people are doing FX trading. People are doing, that's become very popular, and commodities trading as well, gold. So those sort of trading patterns are quite exciting. But you see, there's a difference between trading and investing, right? So trading gives you quick money. The upside is great. You go in and out, you get the thrill and the rush. But investing is very chilled, very mellow, very long-term in focus, and it involves a lot of work at the beginning because you're going to be locking yourself for the long term. So I think it's the same thing with FX trading. I think it's very exciting. I've done a bit of it, but you want to also make sure you are careful, you learn from the experts, you start small, don't be too aggressive, don't be too much in a rush to make money because you can get burnt very quickly. So I think those are definitely good options to consider.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And I think if you want to even invest in those sort of things, or you want to trade, use your monies to trade, I think maybe 10%, 10% of your portfolio. At the max, as in not more than that, because nobody really understands where the market is going with those things, and it's highly volatile. So you don't want to start crying because you have decided I'm a risk taker. So let me just. Yeah, so even if you're a risk taker, I don't think anything more than 7.5% of your max of your portfolio should be in those sort of investments. Okay, so like the other said, I'll just take you through to round up the 4 things you should think about. And like I said before, identify your goals. What are your goals? Why are you doing this? Okay, summer money, but to what end? What am I hoping to achieve at the end of the day? Whether it's in 3 months, whether it's in 2 years, 10 years, right? So like I said, there are different levels of risk involved in building a portfolio, in building wealth. And there's savings, like Bella has said, and then there's actually wealth creation. So it's important that you know what your risk appetite is. So savings you can save towards a goal, and you could be buying a car, traveling, whatever. But you can also save then to start creating wealth. So that's where more long-term investments come into play. So it's important to know your risk appetite, what you can handle, what you can't handle. That is very, very key. So the things that I had mentioned before, the things you should look at is the money that's, okay, so this fund I want to invest, do I need them? I mean, summer has been canceled. So this money, just take it that in your mind. You went on summer, go on this staycation, go around Lagos. Lagos is very interesting. Freedom Park used to be a prison. I don't know how many people know that. If you go to Lagos Island, it's unbelievable, the history in Lagos Island. So yeah, and now it's the best time because more or less we're at home, right? Not a lot of people are on the streets. So you can take advantage of that. So forget this money. So just think about, where do I want to put it? How long do I want to invest it for? And what is it going to, what are the benefits to me? But know the risk that you can handle, know your risk profile, risk lover, risk neutral, risk adverse. Just understand yourself, because like I said earlier, we can recommend everything. I can tell you to buy Euro bonds because of XYZ, but do you have the heart? Or will you think, oh, this is a waste of time. I could have put it in my friend's business, or I could put it in a business and then made some money. So that is very important. I think another thing that's important is to speak to a financial advisor, not like a general banker, but somebody that is actually knowledgeable about these things, about your goals. At Union Bank, we do have a team of investment advisors. So if you call our contact center or connect with the Alpha Hub, they'll refer you to them. And they will give you guidance on what sort of products you need to invest, how to grow your money, how to create wealth. They will answer questions you might have on the advantages or disadvantages of some of the products, some of the instruments and products we've spoken about today. So it's very important you speak to someone that is knowledgeable, especially if you're going into this for the first time. And really, if you don't know your profile or you've never thought about investing in this way, it's very important to speak to someone about it. Like we said, start investing now, right now. this money. Don't think, okay, another money is coming in 3 to 4 months. Just take this money, close your eyes, and get it done. If you don't have any savings, choose a savings plan that matches with a teller that matches your goals. I mean, Union Bank has, like I mentioned before, has different savings products. We have Union Correct, Union Gold, Union Max, and minimum 2K, maximum 500, and it's over a period of time. The tenor is anything from 6 months to 5 years, depending on how much you want to save. And there are benefits associated with some of these products. And another thing, and finally, review your portfolio quarterly. That is very important. So if there are any business owners here, you know there's something around when you own a business or you want to start a business. I think even in life in general, there's a reason why you go into it. And it's I like to call it the why. So you have to remember, when reviewing your portfolio, why am I doing this? What was my goal? So it's very important to document what you want to do, what your goals are, what you want to invest in, what your plan is now, because we tend to forget as we go along and then let pressures of life sway us. So I think it's very important you note your why down and what you want to achieve. Review your portfolio quarterly, and then compare your goals with your returns and re-strategize where necessary. I mean, we're not trees, we can move, so nothing is cast in stone. Be very flexible, and like I said, that flexibility comes with understanding your risk appetite. So on that note, I think I'll bring this presentation to a close. Or Biola, is there any other thing you want to add before we then move on to the question and answer sessions?
I think it's time that we give the guys a chance to tell us what they need us to share with them. I'm sure people are, brimming with questions that they want to ask us, and I'm available. So guys, let's give us your hard investment questions. We're here for you. Dishola and I are here for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Deshola. Thank you, Abiola, for the wonderful presentations. They were highly insightful. I can see the comments and questions already rolling in. But before we take the questions, please join me as I invite Efe Hussein to talk to us very briefly about the Alpha proposition and the amazing opportunities such as this one that it offers. Efe is the Alpha Partnership Lead at Union Bank. She has over 12 years of banking experience in various areas, from customer experience to service assurance, bank network optimization, and project management. Please keep your questions and comments coming. Questions will be answered after the session. Also, please look out for the poll questions popping up on your screens. Kindly select your answers by checking the boxes. We would love to have your feedback. Thank you. So Efe, over to you, please.
Thank you, Diola. Thank you, Deshola. Thank you, Biola, for the wonderful, inspiration and educating session. I personally learned a lot because my family and I were actually caught up with no summer this year. Also, we had planned our summer. Thankfully, we had not purchased. We have not committed any. We have not committed any money. So we are indeed happy to invest our summer money so we can have a greater return yield for next year and when summer opens. And I'm also excited to let you know that I'm actually planning the staycation style of summer vacation. So we're already looking at places in Nigeria where we can go to and have fun with the kids. So thank you again for this. The session was quite enlightening. Okay, so audience, this program, like Debbie said, is sponsored by the Alpha team. Now, Alpha is the Union Bank proposition for women, for enabling success in women across all segments of the Nigerian society through capacity building opportunities, networking platform, partnership, and tailored financial services. Now, Alpha came about because we had like a research with women. We had focus sessions with women. We had various researches to understand the need of women and see how we can holistically meet it. So we have come out with what we call the 6 pillars of Alpha, the 6 pillars with which we will focus on meeting the women's need. So one of them is the discounted health care plans and packages. In this proposition, we have various HMOs that we have signed up with. And being an Alpha woman, you can actually, with as little as 15,000 Naira for the whole year, have a medical coverage. I mean 15,000 Naira for the whole year, you get a medical coverage with one of our HMOs. For a family of 4 to 6, you can actually, with as little as 60,000 Naira, get your health package for your family. You know, and then we have some hospitals that we have signed up with, and we have as much as 25% discount for your medical coverage for the year. And then we also have access to finances. So we have discounted loans. You cannot believe it, the packages that we have. Do you know that you can actually get 5 million as an Alpha woman without collateral? Yes, you can. With the Alpha Woman proposition, you can get up to 5 million Naira loan facility without collateral. And as much as you can get as little as 15,000, you know, very, very well discounted rate for the Alpha women. Also, we have the cash flow loans. Normally people would say that the cash flow loans is for the traders, those that are into trading, so they can quickly turn around their cash. But with an Alpha woman, we have cash flow loans for those in agriculture, those in the manufacturing, just name those kind of those in fashion, those in the creative. We actually have the cash flow loans for you. In Alpha, we also have what we call the personal and professional development. So if you join the Alpha Women, for instance, we have various training like this one that is going on various aspects of investment, various masterclasses, monthly masterclasses, quarterly masterclasses, and we also have a mentorship program coming up soon. And with Alpha, you can have practical workshops where you are allowed to practicalize what you have done and come back with results, and you are guided through it. You know, and then in Alpha, we also have lucrative savings and investment. Now, I hear Deshola and Biola talk about various forms of investment. These are some of the advices and consultancy you can get from the Alpha team free of charge. And then we can also tailor your need, but to particular areas of investment that suits you at a particular time, that suits your risk appetite, like my colleagues had presented. For Alpha, we have the business and lifestyle discounts. This part, I personally love this part because I love freebies as the ladies. You know, you love freebies to all the ladies in the house. So we have this very juicy packages of discounts for women. We have package as for hotels, for supermarkets, for spas, for the ladies. We have packages, discounted packages for professional advisory services like the HRO. You want to go into business, or you want to expand your businesses and you want advice on your HR capacity and how to manage your staff. We have tax advisory services that are discounted for an Alpha woman. So as an Alpha woman, these professionals can actually help you package your business together and even do take you through auditing session where they can train you on how to audit your business, how to structure your business, how to structure your tax repayment, your tax payments, how to structure, look at the legal implications of the businesses that you are into and how they can sell in case you want to expand, in case you want to merge, in case you want to shrink your business, various things that you want to do with your business life. Alpha can actually empower you to do that with discounted amounts. And then finally, we have what we call, I love this one too, the mentorship and coaching program that is coming up. So very soon we're coming up with our first season for this year for our mentorship and coaching program. I I encourage you to look out for it, because we're going to use that to empower our women that are already entrepreneurs, the women that want to become entrepreneurs, the women that want to venture into the SMEs, whatever it is you want to do, we can actually take you through the mentorship program. We have a mentorship class that works for you, that meets your need. We're also going to have peer-to-peer consultancy sessions where you can actually have your personal time with experts in the various industries, in the various fields that you want to have some consultancy services on. You know, so Alpha comes with a very rich bouquet of enablement for our women. We want to see every woman successful in whatever it is that they want to accomplish. Now, I keep saying Alpha and Alpha and Alpha. I am sure in your heart you're asking, so who is an Alpha woman? Who qualifies as an Alpha woman? Now, we have two broad categories of the Alpha woman. We have the individual Alpha woman, and then we have the organization or companies or businesses that are classified as Alpha businesses or Alpha organization. Now, under the woman, the individual woman, we have the professional woman, or the woman that basically wants to do our own thing in our own way, within our own control of time and space. And as a professional woman, as a lady entrepreneur, you actually fall into this category. And then now we have the women business. For the women in business, we have three categories of women, Alpha women in business. And that's the woman. The first one is the woman-owned organization, where the woman owns at least 50% of the organization voting right, where the woman is actually the CEO of that organization. That we call the woman-owned organization. That's an Alpha woman-owned organization. And then next we have the woman-led organization. This is an organization where you will have at least one woman in the level of executive that has a voting right, that has the authority to make decisions. And then we have the women supporting organization. I particularly like the woman supporting organization because that also means that a man can be an alpha man. Yes, a man can actually be. And because we're not focusing on just the woman and what the woman can do, we're also focusing on areas that enables the woman's lifestyle. So for instance, an organization that produces goods or services that enables the lifestyle of a woman, like the cosmetologist, the cosmetic industry, you know, the woman hair that is going on right now, all of those these industries are actually supporting and empowering the woman's lifestyle, so they qualify as an alpha organization. Now we also have under that category, in case you don't produce services or products that are enabling the woman's lifestyle, but you have an organization that has at least 50% female employees, you qualify as an alpha organization. Imagine that. That's such a beautiful opportunity. You qualify as an alpha organization, and all of these benefits that we have listed, you can actually partake in them. So that is what alpha stands for. We're looking at the total woman and how to enable her succeed in every area where she wants to explore her life, and actually do that in a very beautiful way while she's enjoying her lifestyle discounts, her lifestyle benefits, her personal development and professional development that is provided for her by the Alpha team free of charge. Don't you like that? I like freebies as a lady. Thank you so much, my audience. So I go back to the moderator. Debbie, you can take it up from here again.
Thank you so much, Efe, for that beautiful presentation. I'm particularly excited about the amazing benefits that Alpha has to offer, especially for the capacity building opportunities during this time. Thank you so much, Efe. So I can see the questions and comments rolling in. We'll just go straight to the Q&A session. Our first question here, I think, is for the speakers. What are the investment platforms in Union Bank that one will invest and get good returns in a very short time? Okay, I think this is for Adeshola.
So we have some, like I had mentioned before, there are targeted savings plan. We have Union Max that pays you up to 5%. So good returns is relative, right? So we have the Union Max, which pays up to 5% over a 2-year period. We have Union Gold, Union Flex. So it depends on what your tenor, well, you said in a short period. So for good returns in a short period, I'm not sure if that is possible. For good returns, and I'm sure that you're looking at anything above 3-4%, you have to have a longer term view. There is no, to investing, there is no shortcut. You have to be disciplined, you have to stay. But we have Union Max, which is our savings plan that can do that for you. So you can save from anything from, I think, about 10,000-15,000 naira every month up to 24 months. And it pays you up to 5%.
Okay, thank you, Deshala. I think the next question is for Ife. What support can viable businesses?
Debbie, can we just deal with like the investment questions now?
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay. Okay.
So there's someone that asks about the risk averse and what sort of, that they want to, they're risk averse. Somebody's asking about how does one invest in gold, and someone has asked about, treasury bill rates are low and how can they find products to invest in. So yeah. I do know that treasury bill rates are low. That's one of the reasons why I said, look at mutual funds. Now, there are some mutual funds that give you higher returns than treasury bills rates. So I think you may want to consider some of those opportunities. Like I mentioned, first Union Bank has, I think first of all, you may want to go to Union Bank because they have a platform where you can talk to a financial advisor and they will give you guidance on which products to invest in. So don't just throw it that and just say, I want to invest in mutual fund. Bella said, so no, I'm saying talk to your financial advisor in Union Bank first of all, and then they will give you advice on which mutual fund best suits your need. But definitely there are products out there that definitely give more than the average 6%. So you may want to definitely consider that. How do you invest in gold? So the Nigerian Stock Exchange has a gold ETF that you can invest in. So if you wanted to invest in gold, you can invest in the Nigerian Stock Exchange gold ETF. That's one platform that you can actually go to invest your funds, to invest in gold if you were looking at that. And then somebody asked that examples of crowdfunding that I can recommend. Now, so this platform is not really, we can't really give you a specific name and say do this or do that, because again, we're just sharing product information, but your financial advisor is able to offer you that product, right? So I'm one, Union Bank is one, so you can reach out to Union Bank. They will give you advice on which product to best suits your need. And if you want, you can reach out to me as well. I can also support you with that as well. But essentially, this is not a platform where we're going to give out specific product names and say, invest in this or that, but we can tell you that Union Bank has a bouquet of products, especially, that you can invest in that will give you decent returns. I know that you can obviously, ask, if you talk to the financial advisor, they can also share with you how to invest in Eurobonds as well, which are available also in Union Bank as well. So I think, like I said, Union Bank is your go-to bank in this process.
I totally agree. Like, so I said, we have a wealth management platform that is going to go live next month called M36. Please look out for it. You'll be able to buy commercial papers, FGM bonds, Euro bonds for as little as 100,000. Somebody also asked, I don't have planned funds for this summer, but I would like to have one as soon as travel opens. Can I get a loan for this? You can get a loan for anything you want, really, from as an alpha woman. So please just send an email to the Alpha Hub and they'll get back to you on the criteria for that. Another person says, I want to save towards travel relocation. What do you advise? My friend told me about a dollar savings account Union Bank has with a 3% interest rate. Yes, we do have an account and it's called Union Ace and it pays up to 3% interest rates on amounts up to $50,000. So yes, Union Ace, like I said, just get in contact with the Alpha Hub and they'll direct you in the right, they'll push you in the right direction. I'm married but without kids now. How can I invest for my unborn children? Just put the money aside and label it children's fund and invest in any, know your risk profile or your risk appetite, invest in any of these products. So it could be Naira, it could be USD, depending on what you want for your, what you want to achieve for your children. So just label it something. So when you're writing your goals, you write for my children and say, okay, this is what I want my children to achieve. How much do I need to do that? And how do I start working towards getting that done? Okay, so Biola would have to unfortunately drop off at this time because she has another webinar she's participating in. So Biola, I would like to, on behalf of Union Bank, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm very grateful. If you have any questions for me, please share it with the team. I would send responses to Alpha. I'm always available here. You can follow me on my social media handles, Abiola I Adekoya, and you can, send me a message and I'll respond to you. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, but I'm still here, so I'll be here to answer your questions, and then we'll also take the questions on Alpha as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Biola. Thank you, Adishola. So we'll go straight to the Alpha questions. The first question is, what support can viable businesses get at the moment from Union Bank? And is this support applicable to us that are not currently running our account?
Thank you for that question, Debbie. Okay, so from me to you, you have to get your account running, because for you to take a loan anyways, you would need the account. You will need an account to be functioning for the loan to go into. And then, but just in case for some years you have not used your account, so the account probably is dormant, not a problem. You can send your request in, and then you would have to operate your account for at least, reactivate your account and operate it for at least 1 month. And then also send in your 12-month statement, your last 12-month statement from the bank you are currently using, or the financial institution you are currently using. And once we get that, you can go through the credit checks, and then you will be fine. You can now start benefiting financially or in other areas that you want to benefit from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Efe. This one is also for you. What's the requirement for an interest rate on Alpha Women loans?
Okay, so for the Alpha Women's loan, like I said earlier, we have various loans and but be rest assured that the rates that you get from Alpha will be better than any of the market rates that are out there, because Alpha was designed specifically and especially to empower the women. Now, you will go through your credit checks, and whatever the result is, and I'm hoping that the result will be good enough for you to get some good loans, and you will now be, of course, appraised on the type of loan that you can get and the rates that will be offered to you. But I can assure you that the rates that you get will be better than any other market rates you have out there. Over to you, Debbie.
Okay, thank you, Efe. Thank you. Okay, there's another question. Thank you, Alpha by Union Bank, for organizing this eye-opening event. My question is, as a career person, are there loans or assistance for career development? I mean funds in form of loans or assistance for education within and outside Nigeria.
Absolutely, there are opportunities to fund your education. It's again, like Biola advised earlier, call in or send your request to the alphawoman.com, and then you will get a response on this. Then you get a response on your request specifically to meet your need, because we're here to design product. Our services are specific. So yes, if you want to fund your education outside or within Nigeria, we can actually design something. We already have services for that. We already have portfolios for that, but then we would be specific about your request, to ensure that you get the benefits that you should get. So yes, there are opportunities, there are services like that, there are portfolios like that in the bank for you already.
Okay, thank you, Efe. How do we join the Alpha community?
Oh, it's very easy. Just send your name or log on to the alphawoman.com and you'll be able to log on there. You will get an email verification email, and then yes, it's actually on the slide. If you look at the slide, that is the website, the alphawoman.com. You log on there, you get an email verification, and once you verify your email, voila, you're free to participate as an Alpha Woman.
Okay. I need a mentor to put me through. I'm interested in creating an ICT/entrepreneur training for women. This includes training on how to do wig extension, cosmology, shoe and bags, etc., and in different aspects of ICT training, such as web design, networking, software development.
Your request is quite on point, because the month of July for Alpha is going to be our digital month, and we're going to be focusing on digitalization, training our women folks on digitalization, DIY your own website, and the basics that we need to know about, digital visibility of our businesses and the types of the various industries that we want to go into. So yes, you're on point. I would advise you to join the alphawoman.com and then look out for the programs. Once the advert go out, we send this request to all our community members. Look out for it once it go out, and make sure that you readily register for the session.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the last question now, and I think this question is for Adeshola. Please, can you throw more light on the Eurobond?
Okay, so a Euro bond is a bond that is issued by a sovereign in a currency that is not theirs, to put it simply. So it is government borrowing in a currency that is not yours. So for Nigeria, our local currency is Naira, but the government has tried to is raising dollar, is trying to raise dollar funds. So they will issue a Euro bond, a sovereign bond. So that is what it is basically. So it's the same, it's similar to a federal government bond, but it's just denominated in another currency. So Eurobonds are essentially have two things. They have coupon rates, which is the interest, and it is paid twice a year. And for you to invest in Eurobonds, you have to be aware of two things. You have to be aware of the entry price. So that is the price at which you are buying the Eurobond. So if you're buying the Eurobond when it is first issued, you probably buy it, it will probably be at $100, right? And the minimum entry for Eurobonds is about $100,000. So which is why a lot of people then put them in fund, then create mutual funds with Eurobonds as an underlying asset for retail individuals. So that's people like you and me to be able to invest in. So a Eurobond basically is a foreign denominated investment product. So for people that are saying, oh, I'm planning towards summer next year, where can I put my money? A Eurobond investment is probably one, because it is denominated in USD, and USD for most countries is the base currency.
Okay, thank you, Adeshola. We've now come to the end of the Q&A session. Efe, would you like to, I know that Alpha has some summer plans for women. Could you please shed more light on the Alpha weekend before we wrap up?
Thank you so much, Debbie, for a beautiful moderation. Yes, Alpha has what we call the Alpha weekend plans for all members of the Alpha community. The Alpha weekend is basically a time on a Friday evening, and in this particular instance, the next one is coming up next week Friday, where women, you just get to lay it down and be yourself, and we party, we do all sort of stuff, we do our women stuff. You understand what I mean? Okay, so for the next session, we're actually having a chef come to take us on how to make a particular cocktail. I'm not going to review what it is, but I'm just telling you, so when the link comes out, please promptly register and make sure you get your slot, your space for that particular session, because it's going to be a wow. And then on Saturday morning by 9 a.m., we're going to be having a Pilates session. I know you may not know what that means, but hey, hang on there. You will see what it means when we send the link, and make sure you promptly register because it's going to be a wow. We will have a beautiful time. And then for July, like I said earlier, it's our month, it's our digital month. So we're going to be doing a lot. So promptly register as you see those links come up and pop up on your mailbox and then on your SMSs. Thank you very much for the session. Debbie, over to you.
Thank you, Efe. Thank you, Efe. I'm excited about the Alpha weekend already. So this marks the end of this session. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I wish you
Debbie, before you,
a beautiful
sorry, Debbie,
weekend.
Hello, Debbie. Before you wrap up, for those, I can see we have like 60 questions that has not been addressed. For those questions, those that have sent in their questions that we have not taken, we are going to get back to you. We'll send you an email. If you can send back your phone number to us, we'll be glad to receive it. But however, we're going to respond back to your questions using your email. So ensure that the email you use to register for this session is actually a valid and functional email, and we will reach out to you. Thank you.
Yeah, and yes, I was going to say that as well. That we can, what we'll do is we can also answer these questions and then put it on the Alpha Hub in maybe in a FAQ sort of way, so people can then go and read. So people that were not on can also see the answers to those questions, or people that have similar questions can find out more or go somewhere and learn some more. Thank you. So